And it's Iranian officials say they have armed Hamas for a fight with Israel. There's going to be a heated discussion here. Drew, take it away.
Revolutionary Guard Commander Mohammed al-Jafari warned in an interview with the Arabic channel of Iran state Al-Alam television that Palestinian resistance to Israel aggression is endless and growing. Iran is prepared to support Palestinian resistance with weapons and technology transfers, Jafari said. It makes no distinction between Shiite and Sunni factions of the embattled populations under the Israeli blockade. The Zionist regime of Israel will collapse soon as a result of the unity amongst Shia and Sunni Muslims. And we are ready for that day, Jafari said. Mohsen Rezai, another former Guard commander who is now the senior advisor to Supreme Leader Ayatollah al-Khamenei, said Tehran has already provided Hamas with missile-building technology being used in fighting against Israel's defense forces in the Gaza Strip. Palestinian resistance missiles are the blessing of Iran's transfer of technology, Rezai was quoted as telling the broadcaster. More than 3,000 rockets have been launched by Hamas in recent weeks from the blockade seaside Palestinian enclave, spurring an Israeli air offensive July 8th and a ground operation 9 days later aimed at ridding Gaza of its tunnels and missile firing sites. Rezai said that he had asked Israeli President Hassan Rouhani to provide air defense systems to Gaza to protect Palestinians from Israeli warplanes, which have carried out more than 4,600 airstrikes on the tiny coastal ships strip since the latest Hamas-Israel battle began 4 weeks ago. The Americans in recent days approved a $300 million to strengthen Israel's Iron Dome, Rezai said. He pointed out to the president. Al-Aham said 1,822 Palestinians, mostly civilians, have been killed in the 4 weeks of fighting. Israel has reported that more than 60 of its soldiers have been killed in the fierce clashes, as well as 3 civilians. Iranian parliamentary speaker Ali Larijani last week called the disproportionate force being targeted on Palestinian residential areas a war crime. He said Tehran had no hesitation in coming to the aid of Hamas and other militant groups fighting Israel. The comments by Jafari and Rezai followed an appeal last week by the Khamenei for Muslims worldwide to help Palestinians defend themselves from the Israeli attacks. Iran didn't recognize Israel as a state and openly supports the militias, including Hamas and Lebanon's,
Hezbollah.
That sounds better.
Fighting to drive Israeli from the territory the Palestinians claim for the state that they had declared in the West Bank of Gaza.
Thank you, Drew. I didn't mean to give you all those hard words tonight. I told you they weren't going to be too long. It was quite a bit for that one.
Yeah, and all the names. Oh, that's...
Yeah, all those names. You did pretty good with those names. So, that being said, Drew, this was your topic if you want to have at
it. Sure, yeah. I was saying that one of the things I wanted to talk about was this definitely needs to be taken into consideration and remembered, because we also have to remember that Iran is trying to acquire nuclear capabilities. This is a big problem. It's something that I know all of us, I'm sure everybody in the chat even knows. Hitchens talked about this at great length, about a nuclear Tehran and what that might mean for the rest of the world. And of course, it should have been thought about before, but now that we know that they have actually armed some of these factions, I think that changes the game a little bit. I don't know, what do y'all think?
One thing I want to really bring up, I see what you're saying, Drew, but one thing I want to bring up is, I see what you guys think about this, is President Obama just, like you just stated, signed I think it was $255 million where he was given missiles for the Iron Dome, more missiles for Iron Dome for Israel, okay, and they were coming out of our military warehouse in Israel, okay. Okay, that's good and everything. They want to protect their civilians and this and that, but now all of a sudden, they're having a beef with Iran supplying weapons to, Hamas, trying to protect themselves. It's an occupation going on here. They can't escape these people. And when you look at the statistics, 3 civilians in Israel were killed, over 60 people in the military in Israel, but then you got like I think it's a statistic was over 80% were civilians that Israel killed. Isn't this a fucking war crime? It fucking has to be, right? It's
it depends, Joe, because God did promise that land to two different factions.
That's true, and I know one of you guys were going to go into that perspective. So go ahead, have at it, man. That's
what makes it so special, doesn't it? That's what makes it so easy to compromise and get along with each other.
And these religious fundamentalists, devout Christians, they're fucking loving it, man. Because what's his name? Israel's the president? What's his name? Netanyahu. Thank you. Netanyahu even said he's going in there to demilitarize Hamas in Palestine. That's what he's doing. That's why they're in there.
Have you guys seen the movie Waiting for Armageddon?
No.
The American fundamentalists are just loving this. They're eating it up like popcorn, saying, "Oh, yay, it's getting worse and worse. Soon Jesus will be right back to fix everything."
Yes.
Yeah, actually.
Sickening, man.
Yeah, that's what me and Joe had a discussion last night, and he was talking about how the right wing, the fundamentalists would love it, the doomsday year, the Armageddon.
They're loving it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is the end times. Yeah, they must be loving this.
And they don't want to rebuild. I'm like, these fundamentalists out there, and they don't want to rebuild the Gaza Strip after it's been blown apart. They just wipe it the fuck out. That's what they want to do. Take back the land, the promised land. So, TJ, your camera looks 10 times better, by the way. What do you got to say on this?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
I know you're not a war person, but...
I'm... For me, it's so simple. You can... If you can switch the people... And then all of a sudden you care about the other side, and it's like it's not people you care about. It's like people who believe in a certain thing or are. It just blows my mind that people can't just grasp simple things like the golden rule, And it's got to be some kind of someone's got to do something if massive amounts of civilians are getting killed, but what we're doing is just supplying basically money in order to
kill
more. Yeah, that's the solution.
Yeah.
It makes absolutely no sense.
What we need to do is import Ziggy Marley and Quakers out there,
and weed.
Convert all this to Jainism or something. Where they just
Rastafarianism. They all need to smoke a bowl.
We need we need to be carpet bombing that whole place with ganja. That'll fix that, right?
What a brilliant visual I just got.
Yeah.
Everyone's like rushing towards the smoke bombs.
Right.
And they're the good smoke bombs, right?
Yeah. I mean, we laugh, but what do you do about Israel and Palestine? It's like
it's pretty sad, man. Really, seriously. I see these videos, and then you see the Young Turks, pushing like all this, content that's based, backed with, reliable sources, and you see, Israel bombing a beach and killing these kids, and like it's sad. And then our government is helping fucking Israel out, giving them $225 million for a missile defense system, more missiles. I'm like, what?
$3.2 billion in aid every year that they don't need from us.
Correct.
Exactly.
But they point out they don't need us. We pay like each, and like you said, Young Turks is on it, and they boiled down the statistics. Someone else did it, of course, but it's like $300 per person or $370 per person or something like that per person we give them each year, and they don't even fucking need the aid. They have turned a profit for a better, or lack of a better word, I guess.
Sure.
They're up and up. They don't need the aid like they used to, but we continue to give it.
Exactly. Yeah, and you look at $225 million. I mean, like using taxpayer dollars to protect a country committing war crimes. I mean, like, why not spend that money to help rebuild cities, inner cities like Detroit? Detroit is hurting right now, or extend unemployment benefits for the people that really fucking need it. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? It's like it's contributing to more poverty in the United States. So whatever.
It would be cheaper to buy houses for everybody in Palestine and get them a college education than what we're doing now.
Right.
And you're probably right.
A lot more better humanitarian than what we're doing.
It was brought up on TYT. Someone said, like a Jewish TYT viewer said, like, what if a bunch of like Jews decided they'd had enough and they all went to Gaza? And so they're like, all right, now if you're going to kill them, you're going to have to kill Jews along with them. You know, as a way to try and get them to. I mean, and when you're trying to think outside of the box of a solution, I mean, that's not a bad start.
Yeah,
that's kind of brilliant.
Yeah, it is when you think about it.
Yeah, that's just the sad part of it is, like I said, at the core of it is this idea that both sides are like, no, God promised us this specific piece of earth right here. It's like that yeah, I guess that really is why it comes down to all the trying to find ways to find peace for people and stuff like that. Why do you tell them? Because eventually you got to tell somebody, maybe God didn't actually promise this land to you. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the problem.
Let me indulge in just a little bit of cautious optimism, because one trend that's kind of going under the radar in all of the Islamic world right now is the fact that more and more people have access to the internet, especially, I've probably said this on the show before, but especially women who they can't drive a truck, they can't get a job, but they can stay home and watch anti-Christian info all day long. And the ones who watch the most suddenly start connecting the dots and saying, hey, that works for us too. So I have a feeling, just from the amount of email we get from people in the Islamic world, in Indonesia, in places like Iran, that a couple of years down the line, Islam's not going to know what hit it, because all the women are going to pull another Arab Spring, you know, except it's going to be a Persian Spring.
That's a good point.
And you know, it could happen. It could happen.
It could, yeah. That's a good point, man.
That would be very good if it did.
No,
Honestly, yeah. We really just have to break the paradigm. There's no two ways about it. As long as you've got people saying, God told us this, you know, who's going to say diddly to that?
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's a great point.
Yeah, because you can't attack it, otherwise you're attacking their religion, and that's off limits.
Right.
Yep. Exactly.
But my point in this was, I hate that we're funneling all the money to both sides, really, because we funnel money to both sides.
Yeah.
But I hate that we supply Israel with all this technology, and then at the same time we go, well, look at Hamas and what they're doing, and look how dirty they are, and they're firing out of densely populated areas, and this is why we need to strike them. And look, now they're arming them with these rockets too. We definitely need to help out more. But the Iron Dome already works, and are these rockets going to be effective against it? Do they ever come up with that? Okay, they are supplying these rockets to them, but do these rockets actually get through? Are they going to get through? Are they actually going to cause damage? Or is this just another excuse to let the indiscriminate bombing of civilians continue?
Oh, yeah.
And as long as you've got this whole South African situation going on there, it's never going to get better. It's never going to get better.
Nope. I agree with that.
Joe, I don't know. Oh, go ahead.
Appreciate the problem.
Go, Joe. I'm sorry.
No, I don't know how much more time we have for this, but one of the things I was going to
we got a little
say
time.
one of the things that really bothers me, and I'm sure it bothers a lot of y'all too, is this kind of a concept in America where you can never say anything bad about Israel or ever criticize anything that Israel does. I don't know if you wanted to talk about that for a minute.
Yeah.
Because that is very common.
Sure. There was a great meme going around Facebook. It says, my compassion for the suffering that's going on in Gaza doesn't make me pro-Hamas, doesn't make me anti-Israel. It makes me a humanist, you know.
That was the point I was actually going to bring up, and I say that all the time. And there's other shows on the internet that want to have this religious and atheist debate. And I'm just like, it shouldn't be a debate about the Bible. You shouldn't have to discuss the Bible. The Bible's irrelevant to humanism. It's irrelevant. And then there's these shows out there that just, well, we want to have atheists and theists together alike and be friendly and talk about the Bible. No, we don't give a fuck about the fucking Bible. If you want to talk about humanism and you want to talk about what this world fucking needs, then fine, have the fuck at it.